Afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the call. I'm so excited to be with you. My name is Lynn Gardner, and I'm going to share some marketing concepts for real estate professionals. I have a ton of them out there on the call, and I'm just excited to see you once again as I circle back around and talk about how you can build your business at any market. But you know, the title of the call today is Spend with a Stick Factor and Clients for Life. As most of you understand what that Clients for Life thing is, but you probably don't understand what the Spend with a Stick Factor is. It's really marketing terminology, and I'm going to go over that very briefly with you. First of all, the spend. Well, don't confuse that with a brand, because it's not your brand. It's that spend. It's that certain something that sets you aside from a sea of competition. That spend is the sizzle for business, and it's what all of us strive to have, right? So the spend is that part. What's the stick factor? Well, it's a long-lasting benefit. For realtors, it's beyond a basket of fruit or cookies at Christmas. It's a long-lasting benefit, an ongoing reminder, something not easily forgotten at all, kind of keeps them in your pocket for a really long time. It's a stick factor that keeps a business front and center, keeps a real estate company, a broker, an agent front and center long after a transaction. And frankly, that's not easy to find, right? So I want to talk to you just a little bit. A lot of you don't know me, some of you do. So I just want to be sure that you understand what I'm going to be sharing with you by where I come from, okay? I was 18 years in the real estate industry as a real estate auctioneer. I still am. I'm not practicing these days, but I still am a real estate auctioneer. I've sold across the USA. I've sold into Mexico, to Canada, and even into China, believe it or not. I'm a nationally recognized real estate trainer. I'm a best-selling author. You know, I developed auction certification programs that were supported by NAR. That was a spend, by the way, that I'm going to talk about in just a minute. I closed 5,000 transactions over that career in the auction business. I'm a previous NAR board member for the auction board. I headed that up for several years. And my highest listing, settlement, I should say, was $20 million, all the way down to $1. And you guys hear that dollar, you might think, well, she wasn't very good at what she did. But it really was. It's kind of a funny story. The broker I was working with was on the board for a bank, and the bank wanted to get rid of some properties, and they said, don't come home with that property still in our portfolio. And so I drove up, I'll never forget, I drove up in Baltimore City, and I'm looking at this townhouse thinking, this is not that bad. But when I turned my car around to park in front of it, I realized that the end town unit had no end at all. So it sold for $1. But you know what I did in those days had very little to do with the property itself. I did not do distress auctions. They were all what we call by choice auctions, no bankruptcy, foreclosure, none of that stuff. It was just people opting to sell in a different way. But the remarkable success came down to that spend. It always has, and it always will. And it's the perfect timing, you know, with the perfect tool in the marketplace. You see, I was recruited into the largest independently owned real estate company in the nation. You know, I was brought in to accommodate new homes. A new home builder had gone to California, saw an auction, came back, said, we're going to do this. So the broker was really just trying to accommodate the builder, right? But it stuck because of the spend. Despite our massive volume sold by the gavel, we were just a speck of dust in the big picture in comparison to everything else they have. At that time, probably, you know, I don't know, 20,000 agents, 226 offices, something like that at the time. And, you know, so we were just a small piece of that. They had one office in Maryland that did $1 billion in real estate sales in 1 month. So we were just a small speck. We didn't stay year after year because of our volume. We didn't make it to the annual report for the company year after year because of our volume. We stayed because having that tool in the broker's arsenal was a spend that stuck, and they weren't about to get rid of it. I'll never forget, I was long gone doing my own thing nationwide, and the broker moved from one location to the other, and they still set an office up to me. They still wanted people to know that they had that service because that one tool made them stand out from the other. From that one broker, I went on to other brokerages. You know, people saw what this broker was doing, and, you know, to think outside the box like that was pretty phenomenal. And so other brokers asked me to do the same thing. Why? It was not because they were salivating over the money they'd make with auction. It was because it made them stand out from the crowd. It was a spin with a stick factor. And frankly, we all need that. You know, today I have another ideal spin that can grow your real estate business in any market. And I'm going to show you how to get there. You know, the timing is absolutely perfect for this spin. You're in the right place at the right time, and you've got the right tool right at your fingertips. fingertips. I'm going to show you how. It is a game changer for your real estate business. Now, I want to tell you this, as you know, a small percentage of the realtors do the majority of the volume, right? Not everybody is willing to think outside the box, but if you will, I guarantee you're going to see the game change. Why do agents soar while others struggle to find listings? Well, naturally, the seasoned agents have an opportunity, that the newer agents don't. They had years of building a business, a referral business before technology kind of took over our world, right? The newer agents, have those challenges today. But the real reason is that the one to soar understands the importance of the spend. They understand they can't just be a cookie cutter agent out there going out and doing everything that everybody else does. That spend adds value. It often leads to referrals, and it's something that sets them apart from everybody else. That's what makes them different, right? So let's talk about what the biggest problem is in real estate. It has been for a few years now. This comes from Inman News. If you guys are in the business, Inman News, and Inman News did a study, and perception, frankly, says that many consumers believe that real estate agents are overpaid for what we do. That's the bottom line. The consumer polls have often ranked us in terms of popularity or whatever, right below used car salesmen. In fact, only 11% of the respondents view us as trustworthy. Now, that's horrible. That's a big perception problem, but that's where we are today. And so we've got to address that perception, right? Well, what things are we up against today? How did it change? It changed in a lot of ways. First of all, we have the 20-minute real estate experts, don't we? They're out there, they get online, they Google something, and the next thing you know, they're telling you how the West was won, and they think they know everything. They think they can do it by themselves. They don't know what it takes to really do a real estate transaction. They don't know what it takes to market, and they certainly don't know the liability. But in 20 minutes, they become an expert, and they become a problem because of it, because they make us start defending our commissions. They think, they look at the world from their perspective online, and they don't think, that an agent should get paid what they get paid. So we're constantly, perpetually these days defending our commission. Many consumers look for discounts, a lot of them, right? That's just the way they roll. For some agents, it's getting harder to hold onto those fees, and certainly discount brokerages don't help. We'll put it on the MLS for $295. What in the world? But why is that? Well, it's because many consumers believe that real estate agents, again, are overcompensated for the services. They want a discount. They're not afraid to ask you. But we don't want a discount, right? Because we know what's behind that, all that work. It always comes down to the value. So that's why it should be a never-ending goal on your part to add value to your services, and not just the cookie cutter stuff, not the fruit baskets, not the cookies at Christmas, not the drip system. You need something that's going to make you stand out. So let's change the perception. It really can be done. As surely as I went into a mega broker, the largest independently owned in the country, and brought this unconventional program that spun the daylights out of their business for a long time, we can change it today too. But first, this reminder, listen, Einstein said that the definition of insanity is to continue to do the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. So you got to be willing to make a few changes if you want to change business. If you want to master that spin with the stick factor, you got a little bit that you have to do. You're not going to do it staying right where you are and using the same tools you've always used. You need to be a step above that closing gift, a step above a card system, a step above an email campaign, a step above an occasional gift. It's a whole lot more than that, guys. But the question is this: is it even possible for you to have too many services that set you far and above your competition? The answer is that it really isn't how many tools you have in your arsenal. The answer is the quality of the tools and how they blend into your core mission. That's the real answer. We've seen all kinds of programs over the years, brokers striving to have it all. I know the one I was working with had everything from insurance to mortgages to plumbers to painters to relocation to auction. They had it all, right? But it has to blend in, to your core mission, so that you can spin that for that stick factor. So let's just think outside the box for just a minute, okay? What if you had a tool that to offer your clients that could show them how they could pay off their debt, including the mortgage you just helped them get into, within 1/2 to 1/3 of the schedule, without refinancing, without making extra payments, with no damage to their lifestyle, if you will, right? Do you think if you had that to offer, that their perception of money-hungry agents might shift just a little bit? Absolutely it will. Do you think they'd want to know more about it? Of course they would. Who wouldn't? wouldn't if anybody came up to anybody and said, if I can show you a way to pay off your debt in 1/2 to 1/3 the time. But coming from a realtor, that is a spin with a stick factor you can't even put a price tag on. Just imagine if that agent would say something like, first we help you make what could be the biggest investment of your lifetime, and then we point you in the right direction to get it paid off in record time. What a tagline that, again, you can't put a price tag on that. So why would you want to introduce your clients, to a payoff strategy, if you will? Why do you even care? Well, you should care, because your relationship with them begins after closing. You already get the deal done. You got to keep them somehow in your pocket. So when they're ready to move again, you have them, right? That's the name of the game, because the faster they gain equity, the sooner they're ready to reinvest. The faster they gain equity, the sooner they're ready to move up. But the best part is you'll be changing the perception, the thing that we're all fighting against today, money hungry agents that aren't trustworthy, right? You'll be changing the perception. It takes you from being the overpaid, greedy realtor to a real estate pro who actually cares about the bigger picture of their lives, not just their dream home. You won't just be helping them get into debt, you'll show them a way to get out of debt. So let that spin sink in for just a second. I know it's outside the box, but first you sell them what could be the most significant investment in their lifetime, and then you circle back around and show them the way to pay it off or pay it down as fast as they can. Who does that? Well, isn't that the point? That's the point. That's the spin. That's the stick factor. You'll stand out from all others, and you can prepare yourself with referrals because of it. Again, there's no price you could put on that. The faster they gain equity, the more they're likely to buy again much, much sooner. And in any market, by the way, another primary residence, a second home, an investment property, vacation property. Why would you settle for selling most clients one property and then send them all these presents and cards and monetize your system or whatever? Why would you bank on that, for the future, when you can position them financially to buy more? Why would you settle for that? It's time to think outside the box for the new millennium. You won't just be an agent for life. You know what you'll be? You'll be a friend for life. They will be so grateful that that person or that industry they perceive to be greedy has a whole different spend now, and one that cares about where they are financially. Do you think your clients would be more willing to refer their friends? You better believe they would, because now they're thinking about somebody that's got their back, right? So it all begins after closing. Once we get the transaction done, that's where the game begins. And you know what? Goodwill goes a really long way. And the agents that go above and beyond are the ones that enjoy referrals. We see things like benevolent funds, especially with the virus issues, right? We have people realtors raising money to give food and to provide food for the the emergency people. It's crazy what's going on. But the bottom line is realtors have always gotten involved. The one I was involved with, they were afraid to give money to any one cause, but they cleaned up the streets and they did all kinds of community service like that for that goodwill, because you can't put a price on goodwill, right? But they're the ones to enjoy the referrals. And people think that, hey, that's a nice guy, that's a nice gal, they're out there, they're real estate agent, they're doing this. They think about you a little bit differently. From settlement gifts to move out house cleaning, the benefits follow goodwill way after closing. And so we've got to get something with the stick factor. Consumers feel good about those agents who give back. Why is that? Again, because consumers believe that you're more than just earning your commissions when you do that. That's their perception. We're greedy. They don't trust us. We got to change that, right? That's what they think, that we're just, get outside the box a little bit. They think a little differently. So how would you like a turnkey goodwill kind of strategy with a profit center? That sounds a little bit like my auction days, doesn't it? No, auction wasn't the mainstay of the broker, but boy, did that spend bring them a lot of business. I remember, I can't count how many times that I was called in to the owner, actually, of the company to help recruit a top producing agent. Why? Well, not because they wanted to do auctions, but it was that perception that they had everything anybody would ever want. And that's really what this is doing, a turnkey goodwill strategy with a profit center. Remember, it's not just about having the means to stay in touch. It's about adding value long after the closing. That stick factor that will keep you in their mind long after you move, or they move. So what if, think about it, if you introduced a financial GPS system to all your clients, past, present, future, a means of paying off debt they just signed up for in record time. Just imagine that. You know, what would the perception be? Well, you're not just about selling them something. You care about their investment. You care about their overall financial well-being. Do you think they thank you for it? Do you think they tell others about it? Well, if the answer to that is no, you need to think again, right? It's changing the whole perception. What if you had a valid reason to touch base with them, you know, beyond just how you do and how are the kids, are you ready to sell? What if you had a valid reason to reach out to your past clients routinely, beginning with right after closing? The perception would be you're an agent for life with an agenda to help, not you're just an agent for life waiting for me to be ready to sell. It's an agenda to help, to change their lives in ways that most people won't. So put your consumer hat on for just a second and just imagine what the perception looks like when you share something like I'm about to show you with your clients, okay? So put your seatbelt on and just imagine, it's only 2 minutes long. Hold on one second.
Meet Jane and Katie. They both owe $300,000 on a 30-year mortgage with the same interest rate and the same monthly payment. They have the same exact debts, the same monthly expenses, and they both earn the same amount of money. Everything's the same. Weird. But Jane, well, Jane knows about something that Katie doesn't. Jane is taking advantage of a smart online program that helps consumers pay off all their debt, including up to a 30-year mortgage in as little as 5 to 7 years, without changing their current budget. And on top of that, this program helps consumers to convert the money they save into wealth. Thanks to this program called the Money Max account, Jane will now have all of her debt, including her 30-year mortgage, paid off in as little as 5 years, which is 25 years sooner than Katie. And Jane is going to save over $144,000 in interest, compared to how much Katie's going to pay on the same exact mortgage. And thanks to the money that Jane no longer has to pay toward debt, this program could assist Jane in potentially accumulating over $1 million in wealth in far less time than it will take Katie to pay off her 30-year mortgage on her own. So while Katie is paying mortgage interest, Jane's building a huge nest egg. While Katie's mortgage payment is taking a big chunk out of her monthly budget, Jane's eliminated her mortgage and all the rest of her debt in as little as 5 years. And while Jane's thinking about all the ways she might spend the possible $1 million in wealth she can now build, Katie is, making mortgage payments. Oh, and Jane and her husband are making plans to retire early. So ask yourself, what do you want to be doing in 10 years? Paying for your house or seeing the world? We thought so. To learn how quickly you can become completely debt-free and building wealth with this amazing program, simply fill out the contact form on this page, and we'll rush this debt elimination and wealth creation information to you right away.
So there you go. Can you imagine as a consumer seeing something like that? Your realtor sent you something like that. At least that message, right? That there is a better way. Just think about, you know, being the one that got their house paid off and how much more you could leverage them. How many more properties, you know, would they be able to own in that time? Sorry, my screen went off here. Hold on one second. There you go. My apologies. Hold on one second. We'll catch back up. So how do you go about adding that? It's probably the $64 question out there. You know, how do we go about doing that, right? So the answer to that's pretty simple. You got all kinds of options. First of all, you're in real estate. We're not trying to get you out of real estate. We're trying to enhance your real estate business, right? So it's not about getting distracted with all kinds of other things. You know, you could be as involved in that process as you want to be. Just like with any tool that comes into a brokerage, you can open a profit center, you know, get serious about it, do all the heavy lifting, introduce it to your clients, do all the things that you need to do to introduce that. Or you can identify somebody in your office. It could be like the go-to person, you know, to handle all the client inquiries. Or you can work with a team, you know, that can do all the heavy lifting for you so that you can focus on what you do best. But the bottom line is, do yourself a big favor and don't discount something you don't fully understand yet. I know what it is to spend, and I know what it is to make money on that. You can change the perception and you can take that to the bank. But in order to do that, something has to change. You got to think outside the box, get away from, you know, Christmas cards and cookies and baskets of fruit and all those drip systems that you use, and give them something substantial to sink their teeth into. And that's where you get to spend, and that's how you have the stick factor. You know, we have all kinds of things that we can use to help you with it. You know, I put up just a mock-up, you know, press release as if I were the agent, right? So I could put out a press release saying top producing real estate agent introduces innovative debt elimination program to clients. Wow. You know, you can get free press out there a long way when you got something that looks like goodwill, right? But we could also take it as far as you want to go. Press releases, email templates, scripts, training, and ongoing support, whatever you want. It's a turnkey opportunity, and it doesn't take but a few cents to get into it. So guys, it can be as big or as little as you want it to be. But you know what I love about this whole product that I'm talking to you about right now is the company behind it. The motto for that company is buying back America one family at a time. It is not just about selling properties. It's about the whole picture. We need mortgages, right? In order to, you know, to leverage into a home, leverage into a new car, leverage education. Having the debt is not a problem. It's how long we're holding on to it that keeps us from investing in our future, from reinvesting in real estate and everything in between. So when you add that on, you won't even be able to believe the benefits that you'll see throughout your business. So if you want more information, you know, on the consultation part of it, you can text me only. You can jot down the number there real quick, and I'll be able to steer you in the right direction for whatever it is you need. So forgive me for the little glitch there on the screen. I do want to invite real estate agents only. If you're a real estate agent, if you have any questions, now's the time. Otherwise, we'll conclude the call and I'll let you go back to selling. Anybody out there, you can unmute yourself and ask. Real estate agents only. I hear.
Hello, Lynn.
Hey there.
Hi.
Okay, Lynn.
I saw someone else. I'm Lynn Pope, so go Lynn Gardner.
Well, I'll go to the next person. Anybody have a question for me?
Yes, ma'am. I'm Shanice Reed from Charleston, South Carolina. I'm definitely new, just signed up today, and I'm really excited about this. I was just knowing I do have a good system with text campaigns. So if you had anything on, I guess, the proper way to maybe do a text campaign, what can I say or not say, or what link can I send or not send?
Oh, if you just signed up, congratulations, welcome. I'm so pleased to hear that you've done that. And so there are text systems, you know, through an app that you can use. So if you talk to the person who helped you along the way, I'm sure you can get that. Also, I would recommend that we do have a call Monday through Friday, you know, 10 a.m. Eastern. We cover a lot of these things on there, and I'm glad to help you. Anybody else?
Well, okay, I'm the other Lynn. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
I did join, but I haven't implemented it yet. It kind of came at a busy time, but I loved what you showed us about Jane and Katie. And I was brought in under Elizabeth, that you might know, Makwara.
Okay.
And I feel like I would take all the help you could send us and work to implement it. And I know that I needed to do the first step. And like the other lady, we both need the same thing, and that's to go on to your Monday, Friday thing and make our first call for ourselves, correct?
That's it. Yeah, you've got to go on there because that's what we learn from each other. You know, we have all kinds of people supporting all kinds of industries. Mine's real estate. So yeah, you really need to go on there. And for you, those of you just, you know, taking this on for your clients, you really need to take a look at it for yourself. You know, you need to understand what it is. It's kind of like you don't go out and sell real estate without going to real estate school, right? So it's a good idea to run your own numbers and just see what it looks like. And that's where the passion comes from. So it's not just about selling, it's about helping. So thank you. And I hope you
will this also help if I let like really open-minded mortgage people aware of this?
Absolutely.
Okay.
To know too. Yeah, I'm just addressing real estate, mortgage, insurance, you know, all kinds of industries with people helping people, you know, with their lives financially are the prime candidates to help them, you know, with their wealth and their debt. So, absolutely.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else before we conclude? Glad to answer your questions. Otherwise, God bless you all. Thanks for listening in. And listen, let's buy back America one family at a time, okay? I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.